Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I am certainly in South Africa, and this is Jan Roberts again, continuing the journey of self-care. And this is number 24 already. And today I would like to talk about the acceptance of self. Now, self-acceptance is a major part of looking after yourself. See, it's all about understanding and recognizing your own abilities and limitations, of course. It involves self-understanding, a realistic awareness of one's strengths and weaknesses. So in each moment you're either practicing self-acceptance or, wait for it, you're judging yourself. Now, that is actually where the challenge lies. Because when you judge yourself, it always has negative connotations which we already know adversely affect your health, especially your mental health. Now, self-acceptance is actually essential for your mental and emotional well-being. It's important to learn to love yourself and the things that make you unique. It's learning to love yourself inside and out. It's about letting go of the things you cannot change and appreciating what makes you unique. However, being comfortable in your own skin isn't always easy. I certainly know that. But it's something that, when you are not accepting yourself the way you are, at least at the moment, we can always do things about it in the future. That's why I talk about self-care anyway, because it has a lot of things that can make you feel so much better about yourself. But when you can't accept yourself as you are, and that's normally not because you think you're too good for your skin. I'm too sexy for my shirt, and it's certainly not too sexy for your skin. But it was a song, but it is often that we certainly don't, when we judge ourselves, it's not, oh, I'm so wonderful, I'm so great. No, everything that's wrong with us. We live in a negative society, we live in a negative world, and even if you step out, there's always enough people who want to pull you back into that negative environment, like crabs in a bucket. But what I want to do is here, today, I want to share some ways you can practice self-acceptance in your day-to-day life. Because when I said it really affects your mental well-being, if it affects your mental well-being, the mind governs the body. We learned it in martial arts. Kia Akira talks about coordination of mind and body. But this rules. So if your mind is already bad, there is many diseases that are psychosomatic. That means they come from the mind. They've done large studies about the mind, and they've done studies with real medicine and medicine and placebos. That's what I was looking for. I knew I'd get there eventually, but the placebo effect, and they found out that there was no differences. In fact, there was people only needed a peppermint instead of and I'm saying peppermint, but a sort of peppermint instead of a similar looking medication, and the results would have been the same. That story just came to me just now. There was even a surgery done on 10 people who needed a knee operation, and what they did was they chose 5 of them who wouldn't get the knee operation, but they took them into theater and they made the incision, so they gave them a scar. Now, afterwards, those 5 who only had the scar but never had any further incision, anything done to their knees got, if not as good, nearly as good as the people who had the knee operation. Talk about psychosomatic. There's a great book, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, is worth reading about that. Now I just got to that because I just wanted to let you know, if your mental health is negatively affected, your physical health will usually follow. And that happens in a positive way as well, which is also proven. I talked about the positive mind, the mind power and positive mind already in a previous one, so you can go back and listen to that on Key Leadership Facebook page. But the first one is I want to talk to is embrace what makes you unique. See, we are all unique. There is not 2 people exactly the same. Even identical twins have got something unique. But a good place to start is to think of the things that make you special. Ask yourself how these differences may benefit you in the future and how they add value to your life. Great way to start. Then there is another thing you can do, is let go of the things you cannot change. Are we not warriors, all and most of us, if not all of us? And I keep talking about it, but we know by now that there is many people who live in a negative state, negative emotions, negative fear, anxiety, depression, stress, suicidal tendencies because of everything that's happening around them at the moment. And because how they have been programmed by mainstream media, social media, their friends, their neighbors, politicians, and how bad do so many people feel. But it is important not to focus on the things you cannot change. So you may find it helpful to write a letter to yourself about letting go of the things you cannot change and welcoming the things that you love about yourself. I mean, if you can write the things you worry about, because let's face it, worry, what is worry? Well, worrying, most of the people worry about what happened in the past, and they worry about what happens in the future. Now, what happens in the past you cannot change. What happens if you worry about what happens in the future, they say at least 75% what you worry about that might happen in the future never happens anyway. So worrying, it's pointless. In fact, it's not only pointless, it's bad for your health. It causes ulcers, it causes stress, it causes all kinds of diseases that you can well do without at any time. So write all these things on a piece of paper, throw it in the bin or burn it and get over and done with. And live for today. I talked about mindfulness, where we really have to be more mindful what happens now, not in the future, not in the past, but what really happens right now. The third one is identify your strength. Write down some of the things you're good at and love to do. Maybe sports, music, art, or any other hobbies that you've got, even in your job. But practice these activities regularly can help you feel more confident in your abilities. And that's what we're talking about. Acceptance of self. What am I good at? And we focus too often on the things we are not good at, because not only ourselves, but there's plenty of other people ready to tell us what we're not good at. How often do they tell you what they're good at? And I've been as guilty of it myself, by the way. I admit it. Set goals. Set a few realistic goals for yourself and create a plan to meet them. Now this may also help you with your self-esteem. So don't forget to reward yourself when you meet and reach a goal. Now that don't mean once you reach a goal you're going to celebrate for the next 90 days, no. But you need to celebrate, and even small celebrations are worth it. You need to recognize for yourself for doing something right. Because quite often nobody else celebrates for you and nobody else will recognize it. They'll recognize when you do something wrong. And that's why so often acceptance of self is a major issue. Celebrate your accomplishments. Make a list of everything that you've accomplished so far and add it regularly to your post. Have that somewhere posted that you can see it on a daily basis, because you need to be proud of yourself. And that's different for reaching goals. No, things you've already done. Not just things you're going to do and reach and celebrate. No, things you've already done in the past. All the kind of things. You can make a huge list. And then you can add that to your gratitude journal as well, which I've talked about in gratitude. Because you should be grateful for all the things you've been able to achieve so far. And that's a long list when you really think into it. We normally don't, because we don't focus on those wonderful things, because it might be selfish. No, it's selfless if you don't. It is bad for your health. Not doing this. You need to start thinking positively about yourself and helping to pull things from the past that you have done well. Don't worry about the things that you cannot do so far, or you haven't been able to do. That's also a whole different story, because there's often we look at things and we say we cannot do them. And why can't we not do them? Because other people tell us that we cannot do them, or we've had experience in the past where we couldn't do it yet. And everything begins with a thought. I can do a whole program on that, where everything begins with a thought. We always say thoughts become actions, actions become habits, and habits become your destiny. That means that if everything begins with a thought, and then we have to take actions, and they become our habits. So the results we get begin with a thought. So if we didn't like what happened in the past, what needs to change? The way we think. and that means that we have to stop listening to our friends, our neighbors, our well-meaning family. Start afresh. Start thinking differently, and you will get different results. Guaranteed. Then the next one is plan ahead. If you can try to avoid the people and or the things that challenge your self-acceptance, it's a great start. Memorize a few go-to thoughts that you can say to yourself if you begin to doubt or question your worth. Now, some people call these thoughts affirmations, and that's exactly. Write down some affirmations that make you feel good about yourself. These are emotionally charged, positive things about yourself that are happening or are going to happen, but you you write them in the present, and you keep a piece of paper everywhere. You read it often during the day, and when you feel that doubt, look at a piece of paper again. I am an amazing human being. I am a shining light to everybody around me. Simple little things, and you can make them a little bit longer. You can make them rhythmically as well. You can find out, research affirmations and use them for yourself. It really helps. I've already talked about the next one. It says think positively. I even touched on it just now, but remember to speak kindly to yourself and turn any self-critical negative thoughts into positive thoughts. Don't be too hard on yourself or compare yourself to others. There is no right or reason or no benefit of comparing yourself to others, because only two things happen. Firstly, what usually happens, you compare yourself to others and you feel that you're not up to the standard and you get depressed, that you can never meet their standards and you get depressed. You don't know what their life's been like, you don't know what they're going through, you don't know what you're capable of. Maybe that is a particular area that they simply are better at. But we do these kind of things, we compare ourselves. I could never do that. You've already defeated yourself before you start. Think positively. I maybe don't know yet how to do that, but I can certainly find out and give it my best every day. So the other thing that can happen is your ego might get in play here, and you look at others and say, they're not half as good as me. They will never get up to my standards. The only one you should compete with is the person who looks in the mirror every morning, the person that brushes your teeth. And I hope that's you. But you should only, every day, you should strive to be better than you were yesterday. And tomorrow, if you can be better today, your tomorrows will be better. Because it's a saying, the only thing you can guarantee that will make tomorrow better is if you do something to better yourself today. Not them, not blamestorming, not anything else. You do something to yourself. Look after yourself for starters. I really get going sometimes, and I have to stop myself because I can't really get going. Even on my radio show today, I actually went a minute over my break time when I was still on Facebook, and I thought, I need to get back on the radio. But IBGR.network radio is an amazing station, globally, by the way. Now, then there is be kind to yourself. Consider a few things you can do to treat yourself and spend quality time on you. You know that me time I talked about, I did a session on earlier. Again, you find it on the Key Leadership Institute Facebook page. All of them are there, and I'll give you a link shortly where I've put them all on the Cubimo platform for free. You have there's already 20 of them in there that you can listen to whenever you feel free, and that's free, of course, because I hope I can add some value to you every single day. So, for example, some me time is taking a warm bath. Maybe put some music on and just listen and relax. Going for a walk in nature. Oh, nature. And we need to join with nature so much more often to let that negative energy get drawn into the ground again and get rid of it. Spending some time on a hobby and so much more. It is important to take care of yourself, even by eating right, sleeping enough, and exercising regularly. Now all three have got their own sessions in here. In fact, eating was the second one after talking about what self-care is and what isn't. Exercise, your physical well-being was the next one, and sleeping, if it wasn't number 4, it was number 5 or 6. But in that first group of 6 you find all 3 of them where I talked into it. So go back to it and like and share this with your friends, because they can also go and get access to the whole series. I will put the whole series and keep adding to it as I go through it every few days. And then also get involved. Volunteer. It is refreshing to volunteer somewhere, but also get a part-time job or try new extracurricular activities to learn more about yourself, what you enjoy and what you're good at. But also when you volunteer, you get that feel-good factor, that feeling of significance I've talked into already. You know, when you help other people and you get that feeling of significance, it's a win-win situation because you start feeling better. And that is also taking care of yourself. And the last one is find support. Now, you can always share your feelings with people you trust, such as family, friends. You could even try asking them to name 2 or 3 things they like about you. I mean, there is Arthi, actually, my amazing partner. She's got a diversity and inclusion program that blows most people, if not every person, away who actually takes part in it. But she's got a conflict resolution part in there, and in that people say what I like about you, and the process is called What I Like About You, and it brings people to tears when they hear other people actually saying what they like about you. It is amazing. But yeah, I'm digressing a little bit, but it's actually so powerful. I've seen it so often, I've experienced so often. But ask other people and always also tell them what you like about them. There's the thing. That makes you feel better, it makes them feel better, and there you go, win-win situation, and you got synergy. See, everyone's journey to self-acceptance is different. I get that, and it's got to be. One size doesn't fit all. However, you can learn to be comfortable in your own skin, which is such an important and worthwhile part of your self-care journey. It is worth remembering that one of the most important aspects of self-acceptance is that it is unconditional. See, very often we only love ourselves when we are doing well or when we accomplish a goal. Self-acceptance, on the other hand, teaches us that we should love ourselves no matter what. That's very important. I talked to this, you can't give what you haven't got, so if you can't love yourself, you're probably struggling with loving other people. See, this, like many of the other self-care areas, requires you to make some important changes. All of which are possible, by the way. And I just wanted to finish this session with something very appropriate. I just happened to come across it and I thought, somebody is talking to me and they want me to include it and I need to. And I want to finish off with the serenity prayer, actually, when I'm talking about changes. And it says that God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is what we need to do. That is when we don't worry. That is when we do all we can to change ourselves. Start today, and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care of yourself.